Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to be a better person, how to stop being toxic, how to let go of your toxic traits. Just a brief disclaimer, I'm not in any way perfect. I myself am still struggling with a couple of these things, but I got this video idea out of nowhere and I was like, this seems like something very appropriate for my channel and the direction that I wanted to go in, and even for the direction that I want my life to go in. I'm also going to give practical tips because that's what I try to do in any time I'm making all these sit down videos. I try to give very practical tips because I feel like that's the only way that people will actually understand and relate to what I'm saying. So before I get into it, please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure that you also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified of every single time that I post a new upload. So the first tip that I would say I have is to tell yourself the truth. A lot of people don't like to tell themselves the truth, and this is even including me, because everybody likes to think that they are the good person in their own story. Nobody wants to think of themselves as the villain, but unfortunately, you can be the villain in another person's story and it's fine, but it doesn't always have to be that way. Sometimes you may be a certain way that people may not like, or maybe you're very loud and you're very annoying, or you're a talkative, or you just don't know how to keep your mouth shut, things like that. Maybe you're that kind of person, or maybe you have other toxic traits and people have been telling you that, hey, this is the kind of person you are. I think that you should tone it down a bit. I think it's very important for you to tell yourself the truth and tell yourself that, hey, okay, well, maybe everybody has a point with this thing that they are trying to say. For instance, now me at home, I used to be like very, very angry and very, upset and very like Margaret Thatcher and just very feisty. I even still have some traits of that in me because I just don't like nonsense. I don't like when people don't do things well. I don't like, maybe if something's supposed to be here, you now keep it here. All those small things, they used to really piss me off. But I've learned to be more accommodating. I've learned to, just look the other way. I've learned to not let things get to me that much. And I'm still in that process. Don't even get me wrong. It's a very, very difficult one for somebody like me. But yeah, and my siblings used to tell me that, oh, you always get so angry unnecessarily, you're always feisty. And I didn't see it until I went back to my old tweets on Twitter, and I used to see how deranged I used to act on that goddamn app. So I try my best to start, being more calm. And I'm very honest with you, with the people that I associate myself with nowadays, they are like that as well. So I learn a lot from them. So that's a practical way that you can, turn your life around or just let go of those toxic behaviors. So another way for you to get rid of your toxic nature or for you to get rid of bad habits is for you to not take offense when people actually point them out. And don't even get me wrong, I understand that some people don't know how to talk. Maybe when they want to tell you something or they want to give you constructive feedback, they give very disgusting comments. And the truth is that sometimes you can't really just bank on people to have sense. But by and large, I feel like you not taking offense and actually just listening to the message and knowing why the person said what they said will go a really long way. Like, I used to take offense when my siblings would tell me that I get angry too easily or that I'm too hard to live with, and I'm actually a very difficult person to live with. And I'm not proud of it though. I even hate the fact that I pay that much attention to details because my mind just doesn't want to get off of it. So I used to take offense a lot then, but as I got older, I just realized that, look, there is no point in taking offense when people are telling you these things. Sometimes it comes from a place of love, sometimes it just comes from a place of concern, and it's very important that we are able to discern when people are saying things like that, also that we don't take offense for things that we're not supposed to take offense for. Imagine if all your friends are trying to tell you that, oh, you live like a dirty pig, and you start getting offended, but you actually live like a dirty pig. What are you taking offense for? It's the truth. And I know, yeah, it's not something that a lot of people want to hear. It's definitely going to hurt your feelings, but at the end of the day, there's truth in it, and you just have to pick out that truth and work on it, so that way you make yourself a better person. So my next point would be to be accountable, and this one is where a lot of people do not like to go to. Even me, sometimes you just don't want to associate yourself with one bad decision or the other that you made maybe a while ago or 2 years ago and things like that. It's very difficult to take accountability, but I've recently found out that the minutes that you take accountability for something and you just maybe apologize or you even forgive yourself for it, you genuinely feel better, and it gives you this sense of, okay, I can start afresh and do things the right way. Like I remember there was this one friend that I had when I was in uni. We speak occasionally. I won't say we're friends now. Let's just say we're more of, acquaintances, but we knew each other very, very well. And sometimes I used to do things that would offend her. And I didn't even know until one time I just started thinking back and my memories just started bringing those things to me. And I was like, oh, I really did this person dirty. And I remember that sometime last year, I actually texted her and I was like, hey, I know that this and this and this and this happened. I'm really sorry. And she told me it was okay. I moved on. We're not exactly still close, but we're cool. I hope. I hope. So I think that taking accountability is very important. Even in your friendships and your relationships, it's not a crime to communicate. It's not a crime to take accountability. It's not a crime to say, oh, I'm sorry that I said this thing that hurt your feelings. Trust me, you will not die. You will actually not die. And like I said, it prompts you to take better decisions next time. My next point would be to always apologize whenever you know that you have offended somebody, and if they have made it clear to you, don't be shy to apologize. When people say sorry will not take anything out of your body, some people actually want to die when they say sorry. It's very unfortunate because sometimes it probably even comes from a place of shame, or because you just don't want to acknowledge that you did something wrong, and it's completely fine because that's just how human beings are wired. But by the time you get to that point where you can just apologize for things that you have done to offend somebody, and if you mean it as well, because it's not only about saying I'm sorry, you actually need to mean it and do better. Let me give you guys an example. So there was this one time in my group chat, my university group chats, my course mates, right? I used to post my YouTube video links there. Every single time that I upload, I go and post it there so that more people can watch and things like that. You just never know. Nobody ever replies me though, but I just post it there regardless. I remember it was during Christmas of 2021 that I posted one of my sit down videos, and I was in the village that time. So one of my close friends, she's also on the group, she was like, oh Chi, please make vlogs, you hear, do vlogmas and everything. So when I saw that comment, when I saw that message on the group, I started feeling bad because I felt like, okay, oh, is it because everybody else is doing vlogs, and during December most creators do vlogs, they don't do sit down videos like this. So I started feeling bad. I started feeling like, oh my god, maybe I'm behind. So I told her that this thing that you said hurts me, and she apologized immediately and even went to delete the message on the group. And we're very cool. Like my friendship with her is so cool to the extent that if anybody offends anybody, we just say it right there, and that's where it ends. Oh, did I hurt your feelings? I'm sorry. Period. It doesn't have to be anything hard or long or difficult. So my next point is to always accept feedback. Sometimes feedback is not nice. Sometimes feedback is very painful. It will pinch you. Me now, as small as I am in this YouTube space, I get feedback from some people, and trust me, some people don't have sense. So I understand when feedback can hurt your feelings. But remember, somebody told me I made a video one time, and literally everybody else liked that video, but this one person was like, "Oh, the video was even mid. I'm just trying to give you feedback." Like, you don't say things like that to people and expect them to, accept your feedback. That's just one side of the coin. I'm already even getting riled up thinking about it because that comment really, really irritated me, and I had to block the person on my Twitter. Accepting feedback just means that when people are telling you the areas that you need to improve, you should actually take it upon yourself to improve on them. And it is not easy. As a human being, one of the most difficult things to do is to break away from a bad habit, or even to start forming a new good habit. It is a very difficult thing to do. So I feel like when you accept feedback from people more, you can also see it as them coming from a place of, okay, I genuinely love what you're doing, I love you, but I want you to be better, and things like that. Of course, you accepting feedback doesn't mean that you accept feedback from every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Some people just say nonsense out there and they say it to hurt your feelings. So, of course, you can discern between that and when people actually have good intentions for you. So my next tip would be for you to be a more sensitive person. And I don't mean sensitive as in, oh, your feelings are always getting hurt for the tiniest things. I mean sensitive as in being aware of yourself, of people around you, of people's feelings. That's what it means to be sensitive, Just understand that people are human beings. So sometimes before you make a comment, think about, how is this going to make this person feel? Maybe this person is an ignorant person and you're trying to make them to see that what they are doing is stupid. How are you going to correct them in a way that is both loving and both serious, for lack of a better word? So I feel like being sensitive to people's feelings is very, very important. And I actually take my own advice here, because sometimes I just talk. If you're genuinely just moving stupid around me, I will just clear you on the spot. That's the kind of person I am. But that's not necessarily who I want to be. And I'm still trying to break out of it, because one thing I hate in my life is ignorance. I just don't like it. But I'm trying my best to give people grace, because not everybody is, no, you can't expect everybody to know everything. You understand what I'm saying? So my next point would be for you to be more rational. For women, we think more with our feelings, we think more with our hearts than we do with our heads. And I try my best to think more with my head, no matter how dominating my heart feels. My heart will always tell me, oh, it's hurting your feelings, but this is how it's making you feel. And everything is not about your feelings. Sometimes you just have to tell yourself that everything is not about your feelings. So sometimes you just have to suppress what your mind is telling you and actually think with your head, because your head will tell you how it is, the way it is, point blank, period. You get? So I think that being rational or thinking more with your head really saves you a lot of stress. It even saves you from getting into situationships with people. It saves you from a whole lot of nonsense, because your head will just tell you, hey, you're about to mess up, don't do it. But your heart will be telling you, oh, but it's going to make you feel good, even if it's temporary. No, no, okay. And don't even get me wrong, everybody knows when they're thinking with their head and when they're thinking with their heart, especially if you're an adult. So I feel like it's very, very necessary for you to be a more rational person. That will also help you to determine when people are being genuine to you, when people are trying to correct you, or when people are just trying to tell you that, hey, you're doing something that I don't like. So instead of you basking in your feelings and thinking about how bad it's making you feel, you can actually just think about, okay, where's this person coming from? What are they trying to say? Think objectively, what is it that this person is saying about me that they don't like, or what is that bad thing about me that people are saying they don't like that I need to change? So I hope that that makes sense. So our next point would be that you should always be willing to improve. Improvement and change are things that are very constant in life. Okay, you can't go through this life without improving. In fact, right from when you were a baby, right from when you were in your mother's womb, you were improving, you were growing, you were changing. Do you understand? And how you are today is not how you're going to be in the next 10 to 20 or 30 or 50 years. Do you understand what I mean? So improvement has to do with both your character, the way that you do things, the way that you relate to people, how compassionate you are, how understanding you are. It just cuts across so many facets of your life, and I think that you being willing to improve will just help you generally to be a better person in every single thing that you do. And I actually need to take my own advice, because I think about ways that I can improve my channel, but sometimes I just come up with excuses, and I'm like, you know what, let me just stay where I am. I'm not in a competition with anybody. But at the end of the day, you need to actually improve, so that people will know more about you, so that people can see that, okay, this person is actually putting in the work, and so that you can just be generally more experienced. You can just be a more reasonable person. You can just be a more intelligent person, if anything. So I think that improvement is very, very necessary. You can't go through this life without improving. You can't get promotions at work if you're not improving. You can't get into a successful relationship if you're not improving on your character, on how you relate to people, on how kind and compassionate that you are. So I hope that that makes sense. So my next tip would be to stop being unnecessarily angry and feisty. I think that it is such a turn off when you see people that are always angry. Like, what's your problem? There was this girl in in my class in uni. I'm not going to call her name, but she was always so feisty. So I used to just tell her, calm down. Why are you angry? Like, for things that you're not supposed to be angry about, and people will be laughing at you. You get? So sometimes it's just unnecessary. Like, stop being angry, okay? Just be normal, right? I know that anger is a very interesting emotion, right? It can drive you to do a lot of things. It can start even making you to think things that you wouldn't think on a normal day. And most of the time, it's just all in your head. It's not actually true. The thing is that you come off as a very unapproachable and annoying person when you're always angry. Like, what's your problem? Why are you always angry? Do you understand what I mean? So I feel like anger is something that a lot of people need to work on, including myself, because I get turned off by the tiniest things, and it's a struggle to not pay attention to those things, because I'm a person that pays attention to detail a lot. So it's actually quite difficult. I'm never going to lie, but try to stop being so angry. Try to stop being unnecessarily angry. Only let your anger show when it actually matters. So my last point, one of the least, is to be a forgiving person. And this one, even myself, I'm not exactly very forgiving, especially when people do things to me. Like if you've done something very serious to me, I can just maybe let it go, like, oh, it's at the back of my mind. Okay, that's happened, it's fine. But I'll still hold that grudge, and it is not a very good character trait, because as human beings we keep on, we evolve, we make mistakes. Sometimes people that you're even angry at, you don't even know that you're angry at them because they have moved on from it. So I think that having a forgiving spirit is very, very important. And it's also important when people make mistakes and they apologize for it, that you actually forgive them or give them the benefit of the doubt, because human beings make mistakes. Nobody is above reproach, nobody's above mistakes, and it's just necessary for people to forgive one another, like cut people some slack. Sometimes things are not as outrageous as most people make them out to be. Sometimes it's just fake outrage, especially when it comes to social media. Everybody is canceling everybody here and there, but by and large, yeah, I think that having a forgiving spirit is very, very necessary if you're trying to stop being a toxic person. So that is it for this video. I hope that this video was able to help you in one way or the other. Feel free to leave a comment down below for me or for other people who may be watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified of every single time that I post a new upload. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.